Hi, hey, hello. I got lots of stuff going on, but it's been like 3 years since I made an FAQ, and it's all out of date, so I put it on private, and I just wanted to make a newer, more accurate one. This is a full Q&A that I've sorted into 4 sections based on question type, and I'll keep a label on screen with the questions so that you'll be free to skip around in the timeline. And I was originally going to do this in one big video and then clip the FAQ, but I think I need to sort these videos by categories and release them separately. I'm sorry, I talk a lot. What can we call you and what are your pronouns? My name is Dakota, and you can call me Koda, or you can refer to me by my persona, Puddle. Both work, I respond to both, and in both cases my pronouns are they, them. Would you ever consider releasing the chords to your original songs so that others can learn them? I discuss chords in my stream when I'm playing demos and stuff, but once I start getting the MVs together, I'll probably put them in the video or description somewhere. But I mean, most of my songs are just variations of G, E minor, D, and C. It's the range I can sing the best in, and I tend to use them a lot. But in the meantime, if you want to know a specific song, you can ask me literally anywhere, and I'll try to reply ASAP with the answer. Are you open for collabs? What types? I accept collabs on a case-by-case basis. I'm usually swamped with work, but I keep an eye out for reanimate projects, zines, and the like with lots of members since the work can be divided up amongst a lot of members. I'd like to at some point do music collabs or write character songs for other people's projects too. If you want me on board for something with a lot of members on it, shoot me an email. I'll let you know if I can join in for it. But if I may be open about it here, I can be picky. Like I said, I'm busy a lot, and sometimes a project is so far outside of my zones that I can't spare the time to spend on it. But I also have commissions, and if you want me to do an animation for a smaller personal project or an intro for your channel, we can talk quotes. What hardware and software do you use? I primarily use Fire Alpaca for animation roughs. Coloring, lining, and all of that stuff is in Paint Tool Sci. Painting is also done in Paint Tool Sci, and on the iPad sometimes I'll use Procreate and I'll do comics and doodles and stuff. I usually use the iPad for planning work, while most of the finalized stuff is done on PC and Sci. I use Sony Vegas 14 for videos, and it only crashes some of the time. My tablet is currently a dinky little Wacom 1. I need to get a slightly larger one. This was my backup in case my big one broke, which it did, and I'm still using it. What are your hours during the week like? During the work week, I wake up at 7, see off Trask to work or wave from my window, and make coffee or breakfast. I'll catch up on my emails and news feeds until 9, and I do daily journals during this time and do my stretches, go for a walk. Then I work on behind-the-scenes stuff I can't stream, like video drafts, or script work, or comic sketches, or recording things, like right now. Hi! I'll usually stream the parts of a project that I can zone in on work for. Painting and characters on top of sketches, cleanup and colors for animation frames, song concept demos, etc. This goes from 9 to 5 on weekdays, and I'll eat lunch while I'm working. Either I'm live and I'm talking to the chat, or I'm working in Discord calls with my girlfriend, or with YouTube videos on in the background. If it seems like I haven't streamed for a while, it's usually because I feel socially burnt out and I need a couple days to re-level my social activity out. That, or I'm working on stuff I can't stream, like private commissions or freelance work. Amid the workday, since I work from home, I also do chores. Clean up, laundry, meal prep. Then after 5 when my boyfriend and roommate get back from work, I'll make dinner, watch YouTube videos with them, or watch them play video games while doodling or doing art studies. And then I usually end up falling asleep before 10. I used to think I was a night owl, but I honestly love living life with this schedule. I love waking up in the morning and working throughout the day, and it's not super interesting or glamorous, and a lot of my projects are still in such early phases, but I'm giving them life, and it's the dream. I'm living my dream. Has there ever been an idea that you wanted to make into a big finished project? All of them! Do you do multimedia work or just digital? I hate doing traditional art. Okay, that's not fair to say. I did exclusively traditional art from ages 5 to 13 and juggled both traditional and digital until I was 18. I dabbled in painting, working with clay, plush making, gosh, a lot of stuff. But my interest in these things always sort of dwindled down, and I'd always come back to digital art. Traditional supplies are expensive, but I can draw thousands of things with the same tablet, until it breaks and I have to use a backup. I also don't like having a lot of physical stuff, belongings and all that, so even when I did do traditional stuff, I'd end up taking pictures and then part with it pretty soon after. Who/what inspired you into doing the big art, and what kept you going into the big art, that is? Oh gosh, lots of stuff. I've been drawing and making stuff since I was a little kid, like I showed in my first OC video. But most of my push to go for it was just because it seemed like the only option, I guess. Nothing else quite appealed to me in life the way that making cartoons and comics did. I didn't really have a mentor or a lead inspiration for everything, but I do take inspiration from others for specific projects in little ways. For instance, I decided to make Street Magic lineless and the style of the text bubbles the way that I do after reading Cucumber Quest. I could actually go on for hours for each project, and all the little things that I pulled from for inspiration could be a whole video, honestly, but I'll just answer this one because it was asked, word for word. What inspired Neverly Alone? With Neverly Alone's delivery style, I was inspired not only by webseries like Marble Hornets and Petscop and Lonely Girl 15, but also by YouTube channels which analytically dissect horror and mystery webseries, like Nightmind. I wanted to do a project that skated the line between those two. A character mysteriously disappeared with a secret, and yet most of what we hear is through someone who took it upon themselves to investigate. For the truth of what happened to Nicole, which is still yet to be revealed in Neverly Alone, it's actually loosely based on some real stuff that happened to me, which I have already scripted a video for, but I can't release that video until Neverly Alone is complete, so please look forward to not only the end of Neverly Alone, but the video that inspired Nicole's story, I guess. What instruments do you play, and how did you find the motivation to learn them? I only play the ukulele, and I play it technically backwards. I'm playing it as a right-handed person would, but I'm left-handed, so I don't really play it super efficiently. But alas, I only play the ukulele. And a pretty cheap one, too. This is my second ukulele ever, costed like $30. I learned how to play it back in high school. I was probably like 13 or 14 years old, and I liked Adventure Time, and I wanted to write songs like Rebecca Sugar. And this was even before Steven Universe. I also liked Molly Lewis and her songs, and I knew that I wanted to write character songs and lighthearted stuff, and I also listened to Dodie and Human Petting Zoo, and I realized vulnerability through music could be not only cathartic, but you can connect to people and make them feel less alone. So that's really what pushed me to want to make stuff in that field. What would you say is your creative process? I zone in on stuff hard. Hours will pass. I talked about my schedule, which I think answers this pretty much, but I bounce between stuff. I'll work on Street Magic for a week straight, build up a backlog of comic pages, then spend a week on a story time, then a week on Neverly Alone, and I jump around and it keeps me from getting burnt out on one thing. Sometimes I feel like if I spend another second storyboarding or scripting or even drawing, I'll just combust. So I'll pick up the uke and it feels like while one bar goes down, the others crawl back up. How do you practice with your art to make it better? How often do you do gesture and life drawings to help sharpen up your understanding of human figures and objects? I just keep making stuff. I used to beat myself up about not improving fast enough, as I think a lot of people do, artists especially, when we look at our stuff and go, is any of this even good enough for a portfolio? 2 years ago, I got so fed up with myself. I started seeing all of these goals that I was setting, and no matter how much I worked, I never seemed to feel like I was accomplishing anything. I've been making conscious efforts since then to allow myself to say good enough every once in a while. For many artists, they want to focus on quality over quantity, and I totally get and respect that. But as somebody with lots of stories to tell and worlds to share, I started allowing myself to cut corners. I want my lifetime to have more than 3 or 4 projects crammed into it. I want to do a lot of stuff. So I'll do gesture drawings and studies and painting practice and figure drawing, but only a little bit every week. But other than those, every step on every project is practice to me. You know, you hear the best time to start is now, and I really believe that. I'll get better as I go, and I was just done waiting to start. How did you end up shaping your art style? Ha 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 ha. The quickest answer is I drew dogs a lot, then I drew penguins a lot, then I drew anime style a lot, then cartoonish art, then digital painting where I experimented with textures, and I landed wherever I am now. And things are still probably going to change in time because I don't expect things to stay the same forever. Stuff that influenced my art style in an anime way were like Tokyo Mew Mew, Sailor Moon, Yotsuba, Ghibli movies, Lucky Star, Vocaloid, a lot of slice-of-life anime. Stuff that influenced me more into a cartoon-style direction were things like My Life as a Teenage Robot, Powerpuff Girls, Adventure Time, Cucumber Quest, Scott Pilgrim. I also took inspiration from certain art styles and games like Yume Nikki, Poppin' Music, Puyo Puyo, Humongous Entertainment Games, Animal Crossing. Since I started, I've also really enjoyed a lot of other cartoons that have boomed up more in the last few years in popularity, like Steven Universe, Over the Garden Wall, Gravity Falls, She-Ra, Hilda, MLP. It'd be silly to pretend that things aren't continuing to influence my art style. Okay, hey, this is half impressive and half embarrassing because, hey, at least I have some watch time on my account if you've been watching this far. But also, you might notice this video is 10 minutes long of frequently asked questions, and this doesn't even get into what my projects are. So, this first part was the FAQ. Part 2 is a complete detailing of all my projects that I'm currently working on. Part 3 should be miscellaneous fun questions, and Part 4 are very specifically tailored to my LGBTQ plus audience, because I got a couple of those too, and I wanted to group them together. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream, or the next video, or whatever. Hi, bye!